Hello everyone, my name is Ana Linares from the program Licenciatura en lenguas extranjeras con énfasis en inglés. This is task 8, final moment. So I'm going to respond some questions according to the task. What were my learning goals when I started the course? Well, when I first started, that it was this year in February, I already had learned English. I'm already an English speaker. I'm already a teacher. And so being able to participate here has been curious because the tasks have been easy for me. And I really appreciate that because seeing the effort that my classmates do is really something to admire. I am really fortunate. It's something very rewarding to already know this field, about this field, to already have the language, because the others have to do many things in order to meet with the tasks and the requirements. So when I have the opportunity to help them in the discussions forums, I do it. I try to give them feedback, all the students I can, all the classmates, because they are my classmates. So being an English student, I think is really entertaining, and that's it basically. In the next questions, or the next question that was about grammar, what grammar was useful for me, and I must say that I had to apply grammar in different tasks. The first task was about presentations, like introductions, personal information, job. Also, I had to talk about my routine. So it was easy, it was good, and I found new tools that I hadn't seen before, such as Vocaro, or another tool that repeat what I said or what I wrote. So it was very useful. Then I had to talk about past, the modal should and shouldn't in its negative form. I had to use comparisons. I have to use present continuous when I had to promote a place to visit in the world. I remember that I promoted Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey. So I learned vocabulary from there. The next question was about vocabulary. For me, the vocabulary, there are 5 criterions in English to be evaluated, to learn, and it is grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, fluency. I think that's comprehension, because you need to understand what other people say. But the most difficult one actually is vocabulary. It's the most complex because vocabulary is illimited. It's illimited. Grammar is limited. The pronunciation and listening, you can improve it and practice it by watching movies or listening to music, podcasts. But the vocabulary is something endless. It's something that you will always be learning. You will always be learning, because even in our language, Spanish, we don't know all the words that exist. So vocabulary, when we watch movies or listen to songs or even have to go to the doctor, there are some words that we wouldn't know how to translate. So it's something very curious, but there are some use pages in order to translate words, in order to look for new vocabulary, such as word reference and others. And according to the field where you are, you will need different kind of vocabulary. Imagine that you work in a hospital as a secretary or something, as a doctor, even as a doctor. So you will need to know about vocabulary about that, how to say cancer, how to say pancreatitis, or the medical equipment. Also, if you are an engineer, you need to know about industrial vocabulary. If you are an agronomist, about that kind of vocabulary. So vocabulary is illimited, is infinite. I would say there are infinite words when it comes to vocabulary. The next question on the task 8 was about web pages, usual web pages that I used and that I find appealing. Well, I think there are many where you can practice listening and grammar and vocabulary, pronunciation, and there are some that I would recommend right now here. For example, Monster Phrases is a web page that I'm going to show you.
They are talking. They are playing tennis. He is chopping an onion. They are looking at each other. He is pointing at the clock.
Also, I'm going to show you Elo. It's another web page that is very useful when it comes to grammar, listening, and also pronunciation. I'm going to show you how it works. So this page is very interactive. Here the topic is present simple of the verb to be. So here you have the conversation with the audio.
Conversation 1.
And the script. So you can watch the video or you can read the conversation. This is conversation 1.
Hello. Are you a new student?
Yes, I am. Today is my first day.
Well, welcome. My name is Tony.
Hi, Tony.
So when you finish watching the video, you can go to the quiz and respond the questions according to the conversation. Then here check answers. You see, according to what you'll see or only show answers, you can check some grammar here. You see the uses of the verb to be, the contractions, the negative forms. And finally, there are plenty of apps too in order to learn English or to practice, such as Cake, which is a page or is an app actually that you can use to practice your English with movies or series. So you watch a bit of a scene, so there you can repeat the sentence, you can learn the vocabulary, you can practice your pronunciation. It also happens with nonsense. With word box.
Not believing what I have just witnessed. Back there, you and Fiona, there was a spark inside her heart. I thought was long extinguished. It was as if for one moment Fiona had actually found her true love.
I am her true love. I ended her curse.
Here in Wordwall, you can choose different activities. Let's choose this. There are. So the idea here is to play and organize the order of the sentence. For example, is there? No, there is not a mall near here. That's it. Next. And continue. There is a chair in the corner. And finally, to respond to the last question that was, how will my overall growth will benefit my future? I would say that English really opens doors. You can expand your horizons. You can get better jobs, better paid, and being able to communicate with native speakers, English native speakers, is a big advantage. The perks that you get are amazing, and you can travel around the world, being understood and understand. But the most important thing about this is that you share what you learn, because not spreading your knowledge with others would be pointless. The best thing about learning a new language or learning something is to be able to share with others, to learn, to teach. That's why I want to be an English teacher here with this Licenciatura, with this degree, So thank you so much. That's all for today. It was a pleasure. And I hope the tools, the pages and the apps that I showed you work for you in the future or from now. Bye bye.